Trump found guilty of a telephone scandal with Zelensky. The incident exacerbated internal controversy in the US State Department. The great American impeachment saga to President Trump continues with a Ukrainian accent. The State Department, represented by its head Mike Pompeo, entered the game. Donald Trump himself hopes that the Senate will not allow him to be removed from power. The U.S. Department of State sent a response to a House of Representatives request for documents regarding a telephone conversation between Trump and his Ukrainian counterpart Zelensky. At the end of last week, Democratic congressmen demanded that the White House is part of an investigation that could theoretically lead to impeachment of the current head of the United States, provide materials related to the July 25 conversation between the US and Ukrainian presidents. We will carry out what the law requires of us, Secretary of State Pompeo said on this subject, without disclosing, however, the contents of the letter. The head of the Department of State previously stated that he was ready to cooperate with Congress in the framework of this case, but spoke negatively about the prospects of holding hearings in Congress with members of the diplomatic department. At the same time, the US Secretary of State described the White House as a reasonable demand for Ukraine to investigate the facts of corruption. Investigation of the facts of corruption is necessary to protect American democracy, the proper spending of funds allocated by the United States. It is easy to see a hint of Hunter Biden, the son of former US Vice President Joe Biden, who was in turn regarded as Trump's main rival in the 2020 presidential election, who was a member of the directors of the Ukrainian energy company Burisma. Actually, the Democrats are trying to convict Trump that he, during a conversation with Zelensky, tried to push through the investigation against the Biden, which was regarded as abuse of the presidency. Pompeo's position has caused dissatisfaction among many employees of the Department of State, CNN assures. Disputes over Ukraine have aggravated disagreements between political appointees and professional diplomats, many of whom say that the department is politicized in such a way as to undermine US ties with other countries. But Trump, to satisfy diplomats, blame the fact that the president uses the agency for his political purposes. Trump himself the other day, by the way, told reporters that Energy Secretary Rick Perry was the initiator of the scandalous conversation with Zelensky. Few people know about this, but I did not even want to make this call. The only reason I called was because Rick asked me to. Something about the Ellen plant liquefied natural gas. Pence. Publicly calling on Kiev and Beijing to investigate the activities of Joe and Hunter Biden, respectively, in Ukraine and China. The current owner of the White House is fully aware that the Democrats have a sufficient majority in the House of Representatives to adopt a resolution on his impeachment. But at the same time, he is confident that the Senate will make a decision in his favor during the trial of this case. True, at least two alarming calls from Republican senators to Trump have already sounded, in the form of harsh criticism from party members to the president. So Mitt Romney, senator from Utah, called the actions of the head of the White House outrageous. Another unpleasant signal for Trump is the press report that there is another source in the special services that has information about the inappropriate behavior of the US president during the conversation between Trump and Zelensky. And if he confirms, or worse, supplements, the information provided by the first anonymous source, probably a CIA official who was not a personal witness of the telephone conversation between the two presidents, the Democrats will get even more reasons to advance their idea to impeach the head of state.